So a familiar-looking team. Lots of experience in this Matildas lineup this evening. Their home green and gold. Last conversations being led by the looks of things by Caitlin Ford and Paige Riley, who will be a familiar face to viewers of the A-League in Australia, keen to make her mark. So the Matildas, to get things underway this evening, Caitlin Ford, and who else would you rather? With the ball at their feet, Captain Catley with the armband this evening. And so we're underway in the 51st meeting between the Matildas and the Ferns. It's been a fixture dominated by the green and gold. Game number 51 tonight, 33 wins the way of the Matildas, just 9 to New Zealand, and 8 draws played out between these teams. And this, an experienced, a well-tried, a well-tested Matildas starting 11, taking their place tonight, hoping to extend that winning streak against this New Zealand side, who are just waiting for the right time to press with the ball at the feet of Mackenzie Arnold. Matildas looking to play out and find a way through early doors. That's a little wayward pass, giving the Ferns a little look forward. A bit of pressure coming through on India. Paige Riley, referee quick to wave away, but here's New Zealand with a chance, intercepted just outside the 18-yard box. A bit of a scrap, not quite dealt with by the Matildas. Look once, twice, blocked by Carpenter. And Caitlin Ford can do as she does best, breaking through lines. Here's Van Egmond, has Rasso to her right, Ford streaming to the left, shoves off Taylor. Contact at the other end this time. Sayer, back to Ford. Early charge. Gorry. Intercepted in what has been a real flashpoint of a start. And Kelly Brown will chase to put a bit of pressure on Mackenzie Arnold, but Andy Harper, this is quite a beginning of the match.
Yeah, good evening, Grace. It's a frantic start here in Gosford. Gorgeous evening. It's been a pretty tumultuous, tempestuous couple of days on the East Coast weather-wise. And thankfully, the wind that was a big part of that last couple of days has dropped. It's breathless here, still as in the Brisbane water, which is glistening in the sunset. It's a packed stadium. It's a trans-Tasman rivalry. It's the Kiwis who are desperate to take some bark off the Aussies. And it's the Aussies who haven't really hit their straps yet under Joe Montemuro. They want to start doing that soon. So much to enjoy about tonight in anticipation, indeed, in the two-game series which awaits. 2.5 minutes in, already been 2 penalty claims.
Well, the last time these two sides met, New Zealand came almightily close to upsetting the apple cart. 2 games back in 2022, one played in Townsville, one in Canberra, and it was the game in Townsville that up until about the 94th minute, New Zealand thought they'd done enough. Not to be. Up popped Van Egmond, Kerr, familiar names on the score sheet, and swung that back in the Aussies' favour. And then the second of those 2 fixtures down in Canberra, the Matildas getting the job done. Wanting to do the same again tonight. Here's Hayley Rasso. Just getting a measure on the right. Foster marking her closely. Rasso still with possession and just trying to find a gap through. Here's Cooney Cross. To Catley with the armband on tonight, finds Nevin. Nevin can look forward, dink to the far post, just testing an elite in goal for the first time this evening, who comes out and comfortably claims.
And maybe a little unselfish from Courtney Nevin. She's got a belter of a left foot, and the avenue to goal opened up. She's just got an eye for the pass, but I'm not sure if you wouldn't encourage Courtney from that sort of range just to put her head down and see if she can get something going goalward, because when she hits them, they stay hit.
She's recently moved across to Malmö in Sweden. Courtney Nevin, after a bit of time in England with Leicester in the WSL. But as Joe Montemuro has said, every spot is up for grabs. Everyone is playing for their position in the Asian Cup squad. Here's Rasso. Had Carpenter overlapping on the right, finds Nevin to her left. Here's Sayer. And Liz Anton just steers that out. Plays her football for Canberra United in the A-League in Australia, Liz Anton, so familiar with a number of these players. And there's Sam Kerr taking her place on the bench tonight. Didn't warm up at all. And as Joe Montemuro said in the pre-game show, just experiencing a little calf tightness. Carpenter, nice touches inside. And that pass asking a little too much of Hayley Rasso.
Well, found nicely was Ellie, who's been just firing at Chelsea. And as she receives that ball from Kyra Cooney-Cross, odd in my mind that at the first time of asking, she didn't take on her immediate opponent.
High line from the Matildas. And Elite relieves the pressure, looks long, helped on by CJ Bott. He's pressed a little higher in the field, perhaps than anticipated. Plays in the midfield for the Wellington Phoenix, CJ Bott, and there's Kelly Brown, back with Newcastle Jets in the A-League this season, a combative player herself.
Yeah, Katrina Gorry losing possession and in desperation to try and correct that error. Just conceded the foul. Good start from the Kiwis, have threatened Australia's goal, they've defended their own well. They haven't had a very good time of it recently. Back-to-back losses against Mexico and then hammering at the hands of the US. Given the strength of the US, there's no particular disgrace in that, but still it doesn't bode well for the short-term confidence, but they've started very well here, the football Ferns.
A lively, energetic start, no doubt, by the Ferns. Recovering from that loss you mentioned, Harps, a 6-0 defeat to the hands of the USA, which is a fairly new-look USA team, but a classy outfit. It's been a tough year for the football Ferns, scoring just the 5 goals across this calendar year so far, and not having too much joy in converting any of those 5 to wins. Ford, what can she produce early for Australia? A little nudge on to Hayley Rasso, who thinks about it perhaps a little too much. Not a shot nor a cross, and a disappointing chance. Goes begging.
Yeah, swift counter-attack from the Matildas. And Ford bearing down through the centre of the field and sliding to release. Hayley Rasso disguises that really nicely, actually. Credit to Australia's flying winger. I think most would have expected her to have gone low and hard, but she's gone for finesse. Element of surprise clearly in her favour. It's a good decision, just slightly inadequate execution.
Back from where it came, Van Egmond doesn't mind scoring a goal against New Zealand, but is deemed to have handled that one. New Zealand eager to play out from the back, it would seem. That pass picked up comfortably by Gorry. Here's Heatley. And Carpenter, the pinch just starting to come on from the Ferns. Heatley, appearance number 13 tonight for the Matildas, the 24-year-old. Playing her football at Roma in Italy. Carpenter, of course, who's recently made the move to Chelsea and started in some pretty fine form there already with the Blues. Just looking for a way to unlock this defensive shape of New Zealand. And there's the pass that will be the key and maybe the moment the Ferns were waiting for, regaining possession through a throw. So the Matildas just happy to knock things around the back. Looking to pick their moment. Mackenzie Arnold. A touch off the toe from Heatley, but she's done well to recover. Nice run from Van Egmond, splits the lines. There's Rasso to her right, and Carpenter, whose pass can't quite be found from Hayley Rasso.
But the movement attracts applause from coach Joe Montemuro, who in the pre-game show with Tara and Liz and Ashley was a little coy on who was going to start well, talking about place changing, etc. Well, he's true to form with the midfield trio. If there's anything to be read into that, but Gorry, Cooney Cross and Van Egmond, all of whom have been in complete fluent rotation, alternating between the base of midfield as a 6 into 8, and they've all played at 10 as well in these opening 10 minutes. Maybe that's part of how Joe Montemuro is going to be finalising selection on players, those who seamlessly can move in between positions, depending on the scenario.
Well, just this and the second game against New Zealand on Tuesday, the remaining fixtures for Montemuro to have a look. Here's Carpenter chasing down, but Michaela Foster is there to cover. Free kick back in the centre circle.
Sort of stopped an attack for Australia, advantageous attack. Ball has fallen to Hayley Rasso. Forward, beautiful turn. Look at the power. I think we're entitled to play on there because the clearance, such that it was, comes straight to Hayley Rasso.
Nonetheless, free kick goes the way of the Matildas. Plenty of action down the Australians' attacking right-hand side. When we talk about a team being tried and tested, this is a super experienced Matildas team. Almost 950 caps are collective across this Australian side. Conversely, the Ferns, we'll come back to that in a moment. Here's Gorry, releases a pass really nicely to Amy Sayer, who finishes with aplomb, and doesn't she do that so beautifully? Amy Sayer making no mistake. Composed, cool, slots it home for Australia, and the Matildas, they've taken the lead.
Well, it's a lovely ball from Katrina Gorry on the Harvey Norman replay. Again, disguised the shot. Has scored from distance, does score from distance, and against New Zealand as well, but opts for the pass to Amy Sayer. His first touch needed to be perfect, and for the sake of the goal-scoring action, it was. It gave her the opportunity to set, pick a spot, and place the ball into the back of the net. It's a great moment for Amy Sayer. It's a good goal from the Matildas. It's a joyous occasion for Sam Kerr and the 20-odd thousand here at Polytech.
A lovely finish by Sayer. Her fourth in green and gold. And what a way to get the Matildas up and running here at Gosford. Both Sayer and Seamson. Two players now without a club, having just departed Kristianstad, where they both had a lot of success. A top start for the Matildas. Important finish. That loosely given away. Here's Brown. Matildas scurrying to win possession back quickly. Almost do. Longo comes through with a clearing ball over the top back to Nevin. There's the goal scorer, Sayer. Looks forward. That touch a little heavy. Devon Jackson. Square pass releases Riley. She'll take the space. Has Nevin to beat. Backs herself in. Indy Page Riley, the centre-in ball. Well, Courtney Nevin's done really well.
Well, India Page Riley's a loss for Australia. Big gain for New Zealand. Just at the start, really, of her international career, and I'm sure she'll deliver big time for the country of her birth. Raised in Brisbane. And on the evidence of the 15 minutes to play, she's certainly one who can foot it with the Aussies. I think across other parts of the field, there's an athletic disparity in favour of Australia. Just a little sharper to the ball. Certainly the collective is working well as...
Well, Kelly Brown is rapid. Pinches possession, can drive down the right-hand side for New Zealand. Has numbers in the box arriving. Centering pass is quality. Away heads Heatley. Van Egmond hooks back, and it's New Zealand who are first to retrieve.
That's a disappointing giveaway. At the end, it was a lovely ball in, as you called it, Grace. Really dangerous. Expertly diffused by Winona Heatley. That was quality central defending. Kyra Cooney cross going for Caitlin Ford. Can't quite make it. Arsenal to Arsenal. So West Ham gives it to Undisclosed for 1-0. Nice finish from Amy Sayer. Great reverse angle too.
Just her 19th appearance tonight. Amy Sayer, who has done incredibly well across the last couple of years to what feels like all but secure herself in this Matildas squad. And now the home side, a bit of defending to do. Cross nodded away by Catley. And that one's just going to trickle out. Maybe it will. Yep, it will for a corner.
Oh, good situation now for New Zealand. Disappointment of the early concession. They've otherwise played pretty constructively with the ball. See if they can threaten from the set piece. Mackenzie Arnold will be getting the defenders organised.
The in-swinger, the left foot of Michaela Foster. The 26-year-old. On corner duties tonight. A short one to the near post. Header up and under, back into a dangerous area too. Ellie Carpenter first on the scene. Now Nevin to Van Egmond and Heatley as the Matildas diffuse the situation. Catley Ford over the top from Gorry. And she hoped that ball to stay in. Pass is already well and truly favouring the Matildas. Possession as well. We've got to dig deep into the history books to find the last time New Zealand beat Australia in this fixture. 1994 it was. Predates the birth of a number of these players. Brace that day to Wendy Sharp of New Zealand, but ever since it's been the Matildas. And again, the Australians just looking for a way out. Arnold short to Heatley, and inside goes Cooney Cross. Great with the ball at her feet. A rare mistake from Ford. Ball just slipped under her foot. Now Taylor. New Zealand looking to get their foot back on the ball. And Elite releases Anton. Now Brown, who's dropped deep to receive. That ball hugging the sideline. Indy Paige Riley, a burst of speed, has a little look, and it's a scuffed shot as well. The deflection caused a bit of havoc around the 6-yard box.
Well, that was really good to watch. Australia had set up a very promising attack until Caitlin Ford lost the ball. The Kiwis bounced it around between themselves nicely, and then Brown released India Paige Riley, and all bets were off. The Aussies were scrambling. New Zealand probably just struggled to get 1 or 2 extra forward, but trying to keep up with Paige Riley is not easy. But well done to New Zealand. Yeah, they're really fighting well. 20 minutes in, they played some good stuff.
Oh, the right boot of Katie Kitchen, the 26-year-old, for the second corner in as many minutes, and that one almost snuck under the foot of Heatley. It'll be another corner for the Ferns. CJ Bott, who's been instrumental in the midfield of the Wellington Phoenix in the opening few rounds of the A-League. A busy character in amongst this Ferns side. Kitchen's corner. The punch from Arnold is up and under and out for another corner, this time from the opposite side.
That was a bit shaky. A bit shaky, that punch. Didn't make great contact. It just went to the safe side of the post, but had there been a New Zealand player in the vicinity, it might have been a concession. Good pressure from the Kiwis.
Our third consecutive corner, and the question of what they can produce. Foster again from the left-hand side. Numbers streaming through. It's a good ball. Difficult for the Matildas to deal with. A couple of shouts and plenty of bodies on the floor. Rasso can take Chase down. Centering pass does really well to find Gorry. Shouts for a handball. And a little conversation just determining which way it will go, indeed that of the Aussies.
And Foster swinging it in. This is more like it. His first corner was not great, and 3 Aussies going down like 9 pins. Kate Taylor coming a cropper. Full body press from Nevin. And the handball on halfway. Leads to the free kick for the Matildas.
So the Matildas can reset again. It's Catley on the ball. Nice turn, that's smooth by Sayer. Searching over the top to Rasso, who's brought that touchdown really nicely. Can't find the second, but Van Egmond can! That's a top save from Annalise. Crisis averted for New Zealand. Still with Australia. Here's Nevin's throw. Glance over the shoulder. Caitlin Ford asking a question of referee Yu Jong Kim of Korea. Now it's the Ferns' turn to find a way through. Here's Hahn. Dispossessed. Rasso with a chance. Rasso with what is a simply delightful finish. And Hayley Rasso, she too finishes with aplomb. Her 23rd goal for her country, back on home soil. She's extended the Matildas' lead and they're looking comfy.
Well, it's a really soft goal. With the turnover from Hahn, anticipated did Hayley Rasso. The Harvey Norman replay, keeper Anna Lee has been positioned to receive a pass and keep the thing going. Mahan has turned the ball over, and Hayley Rasso picks a spot. It's a really calm finish to double the lead for Australia.
She still had a bit of work to do on that finish, Hayley Rasso. On her non-preferred left foot, made it look easy. Hahn wanting to make amends. That clearance not dealt with. A little clip. Had Mackenzie Arnold worried. Katie Kitching doesn't mind finding a goal. How about this, though, from Rasso?
Yeah, very clever. Well, she's in the creative mood today. She had that one chance earlier, which she looked to dink over the keeper, which was a variation on the normal theme. And then great composure there from Hayley Rasso, playing now in Frankfurt.
Family in the crowd tonight. Hayley Rasso, she was acknowledged for her 100th appearance, which of course took place overseas. So lovely to see family and friends there to acknowledge that milestone. Ford looking for a third for the Australians. The touchback from Riley is testing for Anna Lee. Carpenter stretches to the right-hand side for Rasso, and Cooney Cross can face forward. Nicely done. Here's Gorry. Has options inside. Sayer, she'll try again. Off the post. Another chance over the crossbar, this time from Ellie Carpenter.
Well, there's a lightness about the way the Matildas are playing at the moment. Good effort. Not from Ellie. From Amy Sayer, hits the post. Look at, but Ellie Carpenter from right fullback ends up the furthest forward. Her running power is incredible. It will be a theme we continue to describe. But I'm not sure, Grace. It surely must have been a heavy atmosphere after being dealt with so ruthlessly by England last start. And New Zealand have been buoyant, but the Aussies are playing with a movement and a lightness that we haven't seen for a while. Montemuro, whatever he's done in the first days of this camp, has really worked, needless to say. But it should be said anyway. New Zealand is as good as they've been. Completely different register from England, of course. But still, the movement is fresh, anticipating teammates' moves and positions and linking nicely. Basically, that description can be made for both teams, but it's Australia with the goals.
Rasso looking for another. Spins out. Has Van Egmond for support. Two goals in the opening 25 minutes. Allowing the Matildas to play with a level of freedom and comfort that is really fun to watch so far. Gorry over the top. Good run, but the pass not having the texture it needed.
Well, it hasn't been a feature of the Matildas, even when they've been hitting their heights over the last few years, various times, but there hasn't been the consistent evidence of the third-person run. They're in good nick, the Tillies, at the moment.
It was a heavy defeat to England, the one that you referenced, Harps, on the 28th of October. Back-to-back European champions in the Lionesses proved too difficult a task for the Aussies. Back on home soil now. Sayer opening the goal scoring in the 13th minute. Rasso doubling it in the 24th. Chance creation, shot creation was something that the Matildas struggled with against the English, having a little bit more joy this evening. That's a nice pass from Heatley, splitting through the lines. Carpenter, plenty of numbers forward. The inside-out run from Ford is dealt well with by Taylor. And the Ferns deep in their own defensive half. Need to find a way out. Cooney cross, Sayer in space. Sayer to Ford. Ford can think about it, line up the strike, but Leak is up to task.
Getting a good workout tonight. He's Anna Leak. Couldn't quite get set there, Caitlin Ford.
Still with the Aussies. Here's Van Egmond. Cooney cross to her right. Cooney cross lines up the strike and hits it nicely. Well, Kat Haddad is on the sideline for us tonight. Kat, what's the atmosphere like down there?
Oh, I think I've got the best seat in the house tonight. It is incredible. A full stadium, a loud crowd behind me. And every time Hayley Raso touches the ball tonight, something happens and the crowd is cheering her on. It is very fitting considering they're celebrating her 100th game at home tonight. The crowd loves her. I'm a big fan, and I think that there's going to be another goal from her tonight.
Thanks, Kat. We heard it here first. Appearance number 102 for Hayley Raso tonight in green and gold. Continues to cause headaches to this New Zealand defence. Carpenter inside, Gorry. Chip over the top. Contact through the back. Referee waves it away. Ford is asking the question.
That's a reasonable question to ask. Again, it's great invention from Katrina Gorry. Anton, no doubt she's making a play for the ball, but she's come from a very difficult position. You don't necessarily win the ball cleanly there. You have got a good case for a penalty, which is what Caitlin put to the ref.
Hahn heads down, but only as far as a Matilda's shirt. Back with the Ferns. Bot centrally to Hahn again and gets the pass away just in time.
That's a big moment for Hahn. Didn't shy away from receiving that pass. Of course, his errant use of the ball, misuse of the ball, which led to the second goal for Australia. Very important, especially in that centre midfield, that an error, as pivotal as it turns out to be, doesn't dent the ambition to keep playing, and Hahn straight back to action.
Well, just Maya Hahn's 7th appearance tonight for the football for Ferns, rather. Plays in the 2nd division in Germany, but Wellington born. Now a chance. Riley, who's looked the most lively of New Zealand so far. That cross from Brown has a little too much behind it.
Very disappointing for New Zealand. In a fantastic position, well set. The initial penetration from India Paige Riley. And Brown, who's been busy and dangerous to start this match, came a cropper. This when a team really needed a bit of composure on that right side.
Carly Johnson back with the Matildas since her debut appearance and goal a little earlier in the year against Argentina. No doubt she'll look to get some more minutes this evening. Distribution of Cooney cross is elite. Hayley Raso pops one for that. Here's Carpenter, though, going to work up against Foster. Van Egmond's scuffed pass came at her at great speed. And a little slip as Devon Jackson goes to ground. Carpenter's pass is hurried as she knocks that one over the sideline. New Zealand throw. Centering throw from Carpenter can release Gorry. Has a bit of space in front. Nevin to her left. Sayer. A return pass to Nevin. Not on the same page.
No, so I guess at this point, one of the interesting parts of focus for Joe Montemuro will be, with the 2-goal lead, how well, with 10 minutes to go, can the team maintain that dominance and intensity, or do they drop off and allow New Zealand, who in their mood tonight, and some of the stuff they've played, certainly got the appetite to fill any vacuum that an attitude drop from the Aussies might create.
Well, Arnold yet to be really tested. Not yet a single shot on target, but maybe that's about to change. Heatley again up to the task. Longo does well in the middle of the pitch for the Ferns to pick up possession. Now Bott. Longo still chasing. Carpenter, good use of the body.
Well, Elise Kellum-Knight's comments about Longo coming into the game, international level against Australia. She's done really well when you consider the football she is playing, which is a little way off international level, particularly an Australian team that is featuring the midfielders featuring Van Egmond, Gorry and Cooney Cross. Longo's holding up nicely.
One of the most experienced football Ferns, Annalene Longo, and that's a nice release pass, but the run went a little early or the pass came a little late. Either way, the offside flag is up. Thumbs up of approval, Caitlin Ford. Well, tonight for Emily Van Egmond, this is her appearance number 164, chasing the great Claire Polkinghorne, the all-time leading appearance maker on 169 appearances. Nice pass that from Heatley. Cooney Cross can charge into space. Sayer turns out, has Nevin. And back to Heatley. Just assessing the picture in front is Winnie Heatley. As the Ferns camped back in their own defensive half. Again, lovely pass from Heatley. Stretches the field. Russo is right. Inside is Carpenter, and that pass is just steered a little too close to the New Zealand goalkeeper.
Who might have cleaned that up nicely and completely. And Elite. Kate Taylor decided to intervene, and it means more pressure is going to be coming the way of the New Zealand goal.
Well, plenty happening down this right-hand attacking side of the Matildas. Good throw from Carpenter. He's Gorry. Spins out, comes back and finds Van Egmond. Her pass only to Bott. Bott's pass back to Cooney Cross. Russo. Carpenter underneath if she needs it, but she doesn't. The centering ball is tempting across that defensive line, and difficult to defend against as well.
Yeah, and difficult to finish. It came at a rapid pace. Caitlin Ford, very little time to adjust a run. Again, nicely worked down the right. It's got plenty of zing on it. Caitlin Ford in that situation, it's really hard to get your foot pattern and your stride length sorted so you can actually balance and hit the ball. Amy Sayer maybe at the second post was a better chance.
Anyway, will do for that one, but still Russo, contact surely in the back. Referee waves it away. Well, that one surely CJ Bott tempting fate. Big shouts and looked like an arm over the shoulder on first glance. It's an awkward one as Hahn has come tumbling in.
I'm sort of with the ref. I think, yeah, the arm has wandered, but it's not heavy contact. And Hayley, to her credit, has felt the contact and got in front of the defender. Another day that might be given as a penalty. No VAR here, of course, this evening.
Here's Longo. Finds Anton and back to Hahn. Switches the point of play through Foster. A pass picked up coolly by Carpenter. Hard work in the middle, coming through by Hahn. And now Catley, who is back in that centre-back position this evening, having played in the left full-back role. We'll come back to that in a moment. Numbers forward, it's a 3v1 for the Matildas if they can pick the right pass.
Well, sport for twice in the end, Katrina Gorry. But the highlight of this, even if Australia was to have scored, the highlight of this was the run from Gorry from deep. It was quite brilliant. Now, Hayley Raso probably is offside if it makes it to her. Needed to hit Caitlin forward. It's all a neat point, but the run from Gorry was eye-watering. It's fantastic, actually.
It's that work rate. We know Katrina Gorry to have incredible engine. The Matildas' first corner of the evening. The delivery is good, right in a difficult area. Heatley, defensive duties at one end, attacking at the other, but doesn't quite get the purchase or the trajectory on that strike.
Actually, the wide shot, we're privileged to have seen the whole field, and the starting point, this is the end. It's fantastic football, actually. Off the ball, great football from Katrina Gorry. Problem was when she got the ball, you had her pegged to have done something once she'd got possession, either scoring or assisting, but the run was fantastic. Really great football. What a sight. It's a great little ground, this one.
Here's Hahn. Trying to pick her way out of danger. Shouts from Longo as Sayer has a little too much contact through the challenge. But looking for a pass forward, can only find one that retreats. A little frustrated. So as we tick closer and closer to the 45-minute mark. It's been a really entertaining opening half. Started in a real flurry. Some really top passages of play by the Matildas and some good finishes to match as well. Pressure still coming through from the Football Ferns. Carpenter inside. Give and go with Van Egmond works out really nicely, but that's blocked well by Kate Taylor in New Zealand's defence.
And again, it just draws admiration and applause from Joe Montemuro. Why not? It's an economy of touch. There's a freshness of mind. Now can they defend with steel, the Matildas? Paige Riley spells danger.
Well, she's looked good all evening. India Paige Riley lines up the strike. Well, it came off the boot pretty nicely, and she's looked really energetic in this opening 45 minutes.
She sure has. And again, you know, they're full of fight, the Kiwis. And given that situation, distance from goal and angle, and her ability, Paige Riley, I guess, would be disappointed she didn't at least force a save. Good chance for the Kiwis. They haven't been without their share of moments.
I hadn't quite finished the point earlier, but of a team that has almost 950 international caps for the Australians. In contrast, just over 360 for this Football Fern side. A littering of experience with some young players coming through. Michael Main doing a job as he looks to develop into next year's Oceania Olympic qualifiers for the New Zealand team. Now he's got a task on his hand tonight, and Hayley Russo has another chance. Brings it back onto her right foot. Carpenter keeping things alive. And Sayer can't quite reach the cross that came back her way. Kitchie has just Brown centrally, and Catley's positioned well.
Well, Amy Sayer was a very obvious pass for Hayley Russo. I can only assume that Hayley didn't see her teammate. She turned away from her to go for goal herself. And with the turnover, New Zealand have bounced upfield again and put Australia under some pressure. A little bit of an escape there, perhaps, for Hayley Russo. The pass to Amy Sayer was a lay down there, unmarked and in front of goal.
2 minutes of stoppage time tacked on to the end of this first half. The home side, the Australians, looking the more comfortable of the two. Not to say that New Zealand aren't testing in moments. The Matildas looking to see out the last minute of this first stanza. Is Gorry. Splits the line and does really well to thread it through. A little scuff off the boot did come through. Carpenter still chasing. Kate Taylor across to cover.
Good defending. Well, Hayley Russo is whip it fast, as we know. Ellie Carpenter's in her own category, I think. Yet to be named category. But Taylor anticipated position and then slid in really well.
And perhaps just enough time for one last kick of the game. It'll be off the boot of captain Steph Catley. Has Carpenter short, should she wish. One last throw of the dice. A corner for the Matildas. Catley, the in-swinging ball, and Elite rises above, coolly collects, and that'll do for the first half. It's been entertaining here at Gosford. A really fun opening passage between the Matildas and the Football Ferns. The Aussies with the lead at half-time, with goals thanks to Amy Sayer getting things underway, and doubling the lead was Hayley Russo. And so the second half underway. This time, the Football Ferns with kickoff. All to do in the second 45 minutes. Should the visitors want to find a response in a fixture that has not favoured them. And Hans had her pocket picked again. Caitlin Ford swivels on a dime. Has a little think about it. Sayer is slipped in. Sayer still with a chance. Blocked once. And turns out. Bright start from the Matildas. Courtney Nevin. The centering pass to Carpenter. Thinks about stretching the field, but retreats just a little through Heatley and now Catley. Nevin down the left. Ford comes searching for it. Comes off best. The centering pass from Ford is whipped in. Hayley Russo really just had to stand still. Great start from the Matildas.
Well, here's a new move. Caitlin Ford. What do we call this one? When the Corva mob start doing their new coaching programs. Anyway, it worked brilliantly for Caitlin. Fires the ball across. Beautiful technique. pitching wedge takes slight deflection. The ball more hits Hayley Raso than the other way round. But a sharp start for the Matildas to get the second half going.
Anton launches a long ball and Kelly Brown will happily chase. Pinching in is Bott, and Carpenter sends back through Arnold. Nice little touch around the corner. Gorry tries to reach. Cooney Cross does, goes to ground. Now Brown again, tries to turn, dispossessed. And Arnold scoops her clearance just as far as Devon Jackson. Has the support of Riley to her right, who has left herself in a disappointing offside position.
A disappointing outcome. As Paige Riley just strays offside.
There's a couple of omissions in this Football Ferns squad. Question marks over the likes of Rebecca Stott, Katie Bowen, regulars in Mackenzie Barry, Grace Jarley. Plenty of quality in and around the squad, not selected for this window. Michael Main just eager to have a look at an extended squad, just different players coming in to do a job. And there's been some moments tonight for the Kiwis. Positive first touch by Nevin, can't find the pass to match.
Well, just on that roll call, there's some quality there that the Kiwis could do it tonight, but from the coach's viewpoint, he's not going to find alternatives. He's not going to build depth unless he throws the shirt to some other willing candidates. And the disparity with the playing CVs, the starting 11s are vastly different. Doesn't really bear repeating. But when you consider that, the Kiwis have been very plucky. They've had some good moments. And as an exercise, I'm sure, I'd like to think the coach, Michael Main, feels like he's making some progress, and those players are having been given the chance to show what they can do.
Here's Gorry. Finds Van Egmond, who turns into CJ Bott. Rasso's first touch invites New Zealand to pick up possession. Now Brown, retreating Gorry, who's worked hard all evening in the middle of the park for the Matildas, tidies up. Matildas can build again. Cooney Cross. Excellent with the ball at her feet. Now Carpenter on the right. Has Cooney Cross inside. Sayer and forward options in the middle. Trotted away by Longo.
And it's a sloppy turnover in the end with attacking position. Cara Cooney Cross setting the attack and then trying to join it. Interesting, some of Joe Montemuro's comments about squad selection leading up to this double window, and saying he's really looking for two answers, an extra wide player and another midfielder who can break lines. That was in part his response to the call-up of Tamika Yallen.
Nicely worked by Van Egmond. Carpenter now. Cut back and forward, is looking for the spectacular.
But what's been impressive from an Australian viewpoint is the midfield three tonight, all when given the chance, depending on the rotation, have shown they can provide that line-breaking option.
Forward again. Looks to turn Taylor. Takes a tumble. Now Longo. Jackson thinking about the pass, and he's a little narrow. Picked up by the Matildas, who looked to mount an attack, disrupted just as quickly. Here's Devon Jackson, known in the A-Leagues at Melbourne City. And of course, spent a bit of time with the Newcastle Jets, Canberra United as well. Both teams have substitutes warming up at either end, and no doubt we'll see some changes soon. But for now, Amy Sayer is still full of running. Size is up. Anton inside to Gorry. Gorry now to Rasso. Gorry again. Van Egmond. Little clip over the top is really tidy. Forward on arrival, and that is a world-class save from Anna Leet. Brilliant positioning.
Well, she's had a pretty good night tonight, Anna Leet. Just had to hold her nerves. A lovely ball from Van Egmond. Look at that technique. Beautiful delivery from Emily Van Egmond. Great picture. And met by the upper shin of Caitlin Ford. Emily just holding the ground and deflecting the ball away, then winning the free kick. Good moment for Australia. Good moment for Anna Leet.
Off the shin, no doubt, but Caitlin Ford got a really good piece of that. Now a chance at the other end. Here's Kitching. In a good space is Riley. Can get her eyes up. Thinks about the strike, goes for it indeed. Lashes it a little wide. Frustration at herself.
That was a lovely ball through from CJ Bott. Opened up the field superbly for New Zealand. The second touch just compromised Paige Riley that little bit.
Certainly Indy Paige Riley, the 23-year-old, has challenged the Matildas' defence on a few occasions this evening. Looks the most likely for the Ferns. Just drifting between lines and good strength on the ball from Cooney Cross. Lovely run from Sayer. The centering pass, no, the shot. Straight into the gloves of Leet.
If I may, Grace, I'll say that was supposed to be a centering pass. It's going to go down as a shot on goal, but that's not what was intended. An opportunity again for Australia. Unrealised.
It's Brown. Now Riley. The ball needs to be good. A little deflection, tricky. Arnold's done well.
Courtney Evans just had a really tough time, as you'd imagine, up against India Paige Riley. Without the deflection, that would have been a really difficult ball for Australia's defence to deal with.
Well, Matildas head to Adelaide for next Tuesday night's game, in the final game of the series against New Zealand. Very limited tickets remaining, so get on those ones. Final chance to see the Matildas ahead of the Asian Cup. Now, how about this? A glancing ball. Hayley Rasso looking for it. Can't quite beat it.
Well, she was made to work for this, Caitlin Ford. And once she got that space, she returns the favour. Offered her by Emily Van Egmond by putting one in the corridor for Hayley Rasso. Deal with that.
Ball over the top from Liz Anton, teammate of Michelle Heyman at Canberra United. And the football Ferns readying what looks to be a triple change on the sideline. Last minute instructions from coach Michael Main. Bit of pressure coming through on Arnold. Ferns committing numbers high. But composure on the ball yet again by Heatley. Now Carpenter driving into space. Hahn, a heavy challenge. Referee plays advantage. Rasso trying to thread the ball through. Carpenter's still on the ground asking the question of the referee.
Well, a robust effort from Maya Hahn to try and stop Ellie Carpenter. And a word from the ref. The ref says to Ellie, yep, it's a foul, but we'll play the advantage. And no advantage was to be forthcoming once Hayley Rasso had miscued her delivery.
Changes remaining on the sideline for just another moment or two. Riley's done really well, skips past Nevin. Sayer giving chase. Riley cuts onto the left, the strike off Captain Catley, and the finish almost, if not for the clever save from Mackenzie Arnold down to her right. Still with New Zealanders, Hayley Rasso is heavily knocked to the ground. Really good chance for the Ferns.
Well, it's more of the same theme. India Paige Riley giving Courtney Nevin all sorts of grief on the near touchline. And then the effort in on goal, instinctive from Mackenzie Arnold, parrying the ball to safety. And there's the foul on Hayley Rasso.
And so Annalie Longo makes way for Grace Wisniewski. Will be a familiar name to A-League viewers. Gabby Rennie also coming onto the field of play for her 44th appearance with the national team. And Millie Clegg, the 20-year-old. So a triple change for Michael Mayne's side. An injection of attacking players looking to give chase, find a response.
Well, a goal there would have made things very interesting for Australia. It's as close as New Zealand have come. Australia, even in this half, have had 3 or 4 very good opportunities, probably to put this match to bed.
Look at the power and the speed of Caitlin Ford. Releases Sayer. Sayer has options if she can find the pass. Hahn is positioned well. Van Egmond was just loitering at the top of the 18-yard box. And now, can those fresh legs, the energy, provide an option? Here's Clegg, the 20-year-old. Centering pass, Catley facing her own goal, steers that one away.
It was a good effort. Millie Clegg just on the field. It took her a little while to look at what was on offer. Winnie Heatley had played New Zealand on side. In the end, the option from Millie Clegg was a good one. Had she seen it a moment earlier, might have presented a clearer opportunity for New Zealand, but it's a good period for the visitors. Threatening Australia's goal. Foster with that left foot and an in-swinger has the potential to cause all sorts of trouble for Australia.
Some runners planted on the penalty spot. Watch the movement. Taylor looks to be a target. Arnold is up, drops it into a dangerous patch. Riley can't connect. This time Van Egmond. Edge of the 18 and can release Rasso. Takes her touch invitingly into Kitching. And that was on had the ball found its way through to Clegg. Still with New Zealand though. A bit of momentum here behind the Ferns. Nice ball to Wisniewski. Sizes up the options. First time cross isn't quite balanced from Gabby Rennie.
Yeah, the ball didn't come quickly enough.
We'll talk about quickly. How about the run of Carpenter? Has Rasso to her right. Finds her, prods it out. Hayley Rasso, the centering ball, and it had Caitlin Ford's name on it.
Well, I'll tell you, Maya Hahn, who coughed up possession for Hayley Rasso's goal, has proven to be quite something across the ground. I mean, she was legging it with Ellie Carpenter for the whole half of the field there. She's certainly got some capacity. part of her development, coming through Oregon Ducks in the US. Division I college soccer is a tough school in the US. And there she is again, winning that ball. And she's one to watch for the Kiwis, I'd reckon.
Saya, cross into the far post. Anton steers away. Cooney cross to Nevin. Finds support in Catley. Being closed down by Clegg. Catley searching, asking for an option. Ford and Taylor bodied off the ball. Not neatly enough. Still with the Matildas. Now Gorry. Carpenter has space. Has a decision to make. Clips it through to Ford, whose header, well, it looked really good.
Well, it was goal bound. Only Carpenter finds her target from the right full-back position. And Australia have had these chances in the second half. I'd also venture to say, though, Grace, it's been a lot scrappier from Australia in this second half.
Matilda's not quite asserting the control we saw in the first 45 minutes. Carpenter still has looked lively, dangerous. And Carpenter, who made her debut for the Matildas back in 2016. So next year marks a decade in the national team. What an important cog in the wheel of this side she is.
Well, 3 Aussies ready to join the fray, and one wonders if it's going to be a cut and paste of the entire front line. And the 3 subs who are readying to join.
Kitching thought she'd almost done enough against Cooney Cross. In the end, too much. Free kick goes the way of the Matildas, and an opportunity to see that triple change down on the sideline as well. All out attack. Courtney Nevin, Amy Sayer and Hayley Rasso making their way off the field, being replaced by Caitlin Torpey, Holly McNamara and Michelle Heyman.
Well, I just wonder if it might have been a rest for Caitlin Ford had India Page Riley not been such a dangerous proposition for Australia down the right. So it's Courtney Nevin who makes way. Montemuro now seeing if Caitlin Torpey can be the person to clip the wings of the former Brisbane Roar, now Crystal Palace player.
Here's Gorry. It's been a machine in midfield. Van Egmond could think about the strike. Does, hesitates. Carpenter arrives. McNamara, little touch inside. Skips away from one defender. Gorry has a little bit of space. That's closed down by Hahn. Ferns numbers camped well and truly back in their own defensive half. Foster hurrying over the ball with McNamara. So 25 minutes of play remaining. Both sides having made 3 changes apiece. Michael Main preparing a 4th in a very experienced campaigner on the sideline. Who's been strong for New Zealand tonight. The back heel. Van Egmond still alive. Glancing header to Riley, who's back doing her defensive duties as well. hidden hope above to find Clegg, but Catley's there. Cooney Cross chases that down. But the throw will go the way of New Zealand. Here's that change, as mentioned. A well-worked evening by Indy Page Riley. She can feel very pleased with her performance, replaced by Betsy Hassett. 160 appearances for the Football Ferns, the 35-year-old. Perhaps coming in for a bit of experience and assurance in the midfield. Here is Hassett. Kitchen releases the substitute Clegg. As Catley to beat. Clegg pushes to her right. Right again, blocked by Catley.
That was nice play by Clegg. Showed good balance over the ball, a nice light touch. Steph Catley was equal to the task when the moment came. But Clegg set that up nicely against one of the preeminent defenders in the world, in Steph Catley.
Foster again on corner duties with the left boot, the in-swinger. Congested area inside the 6-yard box. The referee needs a quick chat. And just a little over 20 minutes to play. A golden response from New Zealand at this point would really set the match alight. The in-swinger, it's a good one. Carried away by Arnold, nodded back in. Harmlessly past the far post.
Did you say harmlessly? From my... Sorry, might have been a private moment, maybe. Well, there was a better punch from Mackenzie Arnold, but it didn't completely get rid of the trouble. Heading back, but not effectively enough for New Zealand. But they've had a good half, the Kiwis. The game should have been buried by now, really, with some of the chances Australia's created. But it's generally been a more ad hoc half. They looked really in sync in the first half. Australia, I think, to the joyful acclaim of many watching. The fluency hasn't been there, even if the chances have been.
Well, speaking of fluency, nice little play. Heyman to McNamara. The substitutes combining. Now Heatley. Van Egmond to Cooney Cross. Finds Heyman, who leaves. Now Carpenter in an advanced position. And Ellie Carpenter, as cool as you like. The packed Polytech Stadium erupts. It was a goal that the Matildas needed to add on to this 2-goal lead. And Carpenter, who has been immense all evening. That's a neat finish. It's a strong finish. It's a statement from the Matildas.
Harvey Norman replay. To me, that's the moment from Michelle Heyman. It doesn't quite come off, but the movement as a centre forward, just to drag a defender. The touch wasn't great, nor was the clearance. That's decent from Ellie. Very clean strike. I'll be disappointed with that muffed clearance. And it's a really composed finish. Head down, knee over the ball, straight through and straight in. Having a great time of it. Player at the peak of her powers. There can't be that much more to go with Ellie. Physically just awesome athlete. Now putting goals for Australia and goals in the Champions League next to the name.
And maybe another as Kyra Cooney Cross thinks about the long shot and she finds it! That is special! And Kyra Cooney Cross, she only scores the spectacular. 4 goals to the Matildas. And what a strike that is from Cooney Cross.
Well, in a minute, the game's gone from maybe being in the balance the Kiwis could have scored and they'd had some chances, to being blown away. And Kyra Cooney-Cross, she did this for Australia not long ago, probably from a further range, but it's brilliant. She is pure football. What do you say about Kyra Cooney-Cross, other than she is just pure football? When she is playing, you sit and watch. Look at this, Harvey Norman replay. Right off the boot, she knew. Hole in one.
She's a joy to watch, Kyra Cooney-Cross. And what is just her second goal for her country, which beggars belief for the quality that she possesses. But really, she only scores them when they look like that. Playing very little at Arsenal, it's been a real conversation, but you wouldn't know it.
No. Well, it looked like it in the last international matches, but actually since then, she has started a couple of the big games at Arsenal, and maybe just that little tweak. You know, we have few like her, and this is why people are joining the chorus. Give her a wings and let her go. We'll fix up around you, Kyra. Just go and do your thing.
Well, it's an apt jersey change. Arsenal, Matildas, either one, she's a star.
Well, it's really deflating for the Kiwis. They've fought so hard against the weight of history, against their own recent form, and they've still got a spring in their step, and they might have had a couple of goals here, particularly before Ellie speared hers home. But I felt they were in the game with the bounce of the ball.
Rennie still looking to keep things alive for the Ferns, and Betsy Hassett as well. That's clever from forward. Bounces off one, bounces off another. Still full of running is Caitlin Ford. But that fourth goal marks it, equals the Matildas' biggest ever win over New Zealand. On two other occasions have they won 4-0.
Well, Melbourne Victory's Claudia Bunge in, and Olivia Chance in. Out goes, I think, the excellent, apart from that singular error, Maya Hahn. And the last action for her was to shirt front Caitlin Ford at full speed. As unenviable a task in women's football as there is. I have been mightily impressed with Maya Hahn.
It was just her 7th appearance for the national team tonight as well, so plenty of promise for the 24-year-old. Another couple of changes now for the football Ferns. A couple of players who are fairly experienced on the international stage, and as you mentioned, Claudia Bunge and Olivia Chance. Appearance number 37 and 48 respectively. But a deflating few minutes for the Ferns.
Yeah, and you know, in the context of the game, it's how cruel football can be. I mean, you're right in it, you feel like you're right in it. Mackenzie Arnold makes that save. He could have gone 2-1 and then changed the game, and then bang. And that's a heartbreaker. If you're just watching Kyra Cooney-Cross launch that and it just sails, everyone's helpless. Crowd loves it, team in green and gold loves it. Very deflating for the Kiwis. Otherwise, they've been very chipper tonight. The record isn't great recently. It's 6-0 against America, down 4-0 here. It's been 4 internationals so far without scoring. This was the 4th. 10 goals in their last 2 games conceded.
A couple more changes for the home side now in Claire Wheeler and Tamika Yallop coming onto the field of play. Van Egmond making her way off, as is the goal scorer on that spectacular finish in Kyra Cooney-Cross. Both players, I think, have really stood up tonight 20,519 happy fans at Gosford. And Cooney Cross takes a well-deserved rest. Another worldie to her highlights reel. That first one against Germany last year, and now this against New Zealand. So of the changes that came into this Joe Montemurro squad, Yallop, Lincoln, Rule and Johnson. Just Yallop taken to the field of play. Kelly Lincoln, of course, young goalkeeper with incredibly bright future. Charlie Rule brought in as an injury replacement player for Charlie Grant. And Carly Johnson back in the Matildas setup since her debut appearance back in May. Still under Tommy Samani then.
Did really well and has to be in the frame. If she's fit and ready to go, you'd like to think she'll get some game time on Tuesday to stake a claim. Showed plenty in the small window of opportunity that was afforded her.
Matildas fans have been shown quite a match tonight. A little quiet in the second half until those goals really set the game alight. And get ready for the Women's Asian Cup with your Matildas jersey and other fan gear. Football Australia has teamed up with the Fanatics for a new online shopping experience. Head to shopfootballaustralia.com.au. Make sure you've got all your Tilly's kit. It's a nice first-time ball from Bott. Searching for Kitchen. Here's McNamara. We know she's quick. Has Carpenter to her right. Finds it. Carpenter now. Her cross glances across the face of the goal. Little hand of apology. Here's Claudia Bunch. 26-year-old is a real mainstay in that Melbourne Victory defence. Michelle Heyman's worked really hard to keep this play alive. Wheeler's header. Fighting for the ball is Caitlin Torpy. At the back of her season at the Portland Thorns in the NWSL. Bunge again. Taylor's pass picked up by Wheeler, given back in the middle of the park to Hassett. Grab the shirt. He forwards a free kick the way of the Ferns. Instruction on the sideline from Joe Montemurro. The formation 4-2-3-1, the shout. And his header. Now Clegg, who's looked lively since coming on. Poor giveaway, finds Ford. Little break in play. Will give Caitlin Ford a rest after another really excellent performance. And Remy Seamson, just her 14th for the Matildas. Now, along with Amy Sayer, has just departed Kristianstad in Sweden, currently unattached in search of a new club. Retreating deep to maintain possession for the Matildas. New Zealand have more or less persisted with a three at the back for the evening, which has left them exposed on a few occasions. Catley inside to Yella. Out goes McNamara. Up against Bunch. Does really well, Holly McNamara, and that's a decent strike. Got a nice piece of that.
Yeah, Tamika Yella firing the ball out to Holly McNamara, and then it was a duel that's been played out on plenty of occasions. McNamara v Bunge, Melbourne City v Melbourne Victory. On this occasion, when it's Australia versus New Zealand, Claudia Bunge just opening the door inside, and Holly McNamara accepting the opportunity and firing goalward.
Bunge, one of 7 A-League players in this Football Ferns squad. Just the 4 in the Matildas. And Catley to take on set-piece duty. Catley's corner, directed well at Heyman, and she's always the target. Fantastic in the air.
Michelle Heyman's arguably got the best heading technique in this generation of Matildas. I mean, Sam Kerr would mount an argument that Sam's excellence is assisted by her incredible athleticism and leaping ability.
Simpson, the substitute. Carpenter looking for a second. McNamara bodied off the ball. Waved away by the referee, and that opened up temptingly.
Great run again from Ellie Carpenter. Numbers just must be off the charts. Back now to right fullback, but invariably she ends up the furthest forward attacking Australian player. There's a good shot on goal.
And this a great foot race. Torpy first to bite up against Rennie. It's making a claim for a Matilda's throw-in. Doesn't go her way.
Look at that great inside run from Ellie Carpenter, and a decent bit of door personship there from Kate Taylor. Bang. Security arriving right on time.
9 saves and elite tonight.
She's had a good night. Not at fault for any of the goals.
Foster's delivery a little short, a little disappointing.
Tired. Looked like a tired effort. She's had maybe 6 corners with that left foot. The first one was a bit short. The next 4 were really dangerous, 4 or 5, however it was. And to round things out there, that was probably her worst effort of the night. That's certainly a weapon for New Zealand. With Foster on the field, those corners, she gets plenty of work on that ball.
And to put into contrast, Mackenzie Arnold just the 1 save at her end, 9, as just mentioned by Anna Lee. Considerably the busier of the 2. Break perhaps for the Matildas. Here's Yalla. McNamara in support. Looks to nudge it past Bunge. And she's shown a yellow card. The first of the night goes the way of Claudia Bunge, and it's the speed of Holly McNamara that makes things really difficult.
Yeah, and I thought Holly's starting position, that's the foul from Claudia Bunge, no argument there. I thought Holly's run was a little narrow. And the free kick has been the result. Just fancy has Holly wound that back and made her run a little wider, so that the ball clearly could have been played into space in front of her to touch in on goal. It would have been all sorts of trouble for New Zealand.
Catley standing over the ball. Carpenter just inside, should she want her. Plenty of numbers. Catley drops it through to the back post, and it's a good quality delivery. Plenty of numbers arriving. Heatley again on site. He's copped a little bit of a whack
Just counting the teeth there. It's her third really strong header. The first two are really good central defending headers. This is attacking the ball in an attacking situation. The front teeth, it seems. In the back of the head of CJ Bott.
Beautiful scenes over the top of Polytech Stadium in Gosford. Really is a stunning stadium. 20,000 odd fans here tonight, really enjoying the display. Plenty of kids. You can kick off your football journey with a Coles Mini Roos program, the perfect place to learn the world game, no matter your skill level. Head to miniroos.com.au to find out more. And plenty of happy Matildas fans as Winnie Heatley just gets a bit of attention after that knock. Well, in contrast, the Matildas game against England had a total of 3 shots, of which 1 was on target. Tonight, 21 shots, 12 on target. Granted, a vastly different opposition, but you can't deny that the chance creation and the attacking outlets have been really exciting.
No, a lot more fluid tonight, certainly the first half. The second half has been a little more disjointed, strangely. It was the same 11 up until the 65th or so minute, 70th minute, when changes started to be made. And you're right, I mean, England's a different discussion. England away in particular. And it was a very, very difficult night. And Australia, in recent times, have struggled against teams that the rankings suggest they should deal with a little more effectively. And they've done that tonight. New Zealand have fought hard. They've had some good moments. Actually never looked like they've lost focus. It's been a very dry run for their national team in recent matches. As he's pull forward again. Closing moments.
Wheeler releases a pass nicely to Seamson. Runs into impenetrable CJ Bott, who has been everywhere tonight.
Yeah, he's had a good game.
20,519, the crowd at Gosford tonight, and what a sight that is. Repeat again on Tuesday night in Adelaide, and of course for the Asian Cup. Just a little under 100 days away. Those tickets are going really quickly. Here's Hassett. Runs into Torpy, McNamara. Catley tidies up, and that's worked out well for Gorry. Yallop centrally. Carpenter again. Seamson. Pass directed for Yallop, the run not there. 4-minute stoppage at the end of this one. Should the result stand, what is looking to be just the second clean sheet under Joe Montemuro's reign, but still some time here. The cross is planted into a really good area. Still numbers for New Zealand. Rennie. Bott cuts back onto her left. Into Heatley, who has been so sound all evening. Heyman grapples well. Here's Wheeler. Skips away. Still Wheeler. McNamara supporting on the inside. Seamson the far post. Heyman centrally. Wheeler a decision to make. Finds Gorry. Good numbers back for New Zealand. McNamara, lovely touch. Serene ball is really, really tidy from the Matildas. And Katrina Gorry, in what has been an exceptional performance tonight, she walks that one into the back of the net. It's 5 goals to the Matildas. It's a history-making result over New Zealand. And it's game, set and match well and truly at Gosford.
Well, they just couldn't cope with the transition. Harvey Norman replay shows the back half of that transition, the important half, I guess. The exciting, the goal-scoring half. It was Claire Wheeler who led the charge initially. When she looked to reset the attack, enter Katrina Gorry, who gave and then went. Didn't she put the afterburners on? A 15, 20-metre sprint to get to the end, break the line, release the player, and then get on the end of the pass. Holly McNamara doing very well to cut back. And Katrina Gorry's had a big game tonight.
Well, she could be forgiven for being doubled over after that run and celebration. Full of running. Here's McNamara. Is there another to add? The referee thinks about it, points to the spot, and again it's Holly McNamara's speed causing troubles at the back. What an impact she has made. And Elite is arguing the case, but I'm not sure how much of a conversation she can have. Teammates around McNamara.
A little bit of a heavy touch from Holly McNamara, and Elite will be saying that it was Holly leaving her foot in on me. No VAR again. I think most people would have gone with the referee's call. Beautifully put away, I think again by Katrina Gorry. Lovely outside of the right foot ball through. Weighted perfectly. The first touch of Holly McNamara wasn't perfect. The collision was telling. It's all coming apart, rather unfortunately for New Zealand.
And it will be Steph Catley stepping up with the captain's armband. Catley's penalty. It's a strong save by Anna-Lee, and she's made amends for the moment. The score remains at 5.
Well, I think a penalty save is what Anna-Lee deserves next to her name in this game. I mean, yes, she would have conceded the 6th had Steph Catley converted this. Well struck, just not perfectly placed, of course. And the anticipation from the keeper. And it's pretty hard often, Grace, is it not, to say at 5-0 down, keeper's done all right tonight. And I think she has done all right tonight, Anna-Lee.
So the 4 minutes of extra time have ticked over. Mackenzie Arnold is well off her line. New Zealand, can they find a consolation finish? But no, who's there? No one other than Ellie Carpenter to spare the blushes of a moment. Long searching ball up and over, and Gabby Rennie will be so disappointed that she couldn't do more. What a goal-saving moment off the line by Carpenter.
Well, that was butchered by Gabby Rennie. Mackenzie Arnold was completely exposed by first a decision, then a positioning. But that's it.
And so the Matildas add another notch to the win tally of this rivalry. A history-making one at that. Saya, Rasso in the first half. Cooney Cross with a special finish. Of course, Carpenter in there as well. Katrina Gorry to round things out for a 5-star performance. A special result for the Matildas back at home. Cooney Cross with a special performance herself.